Hello, my friends. Welcome. Aloha. Thank you so much for connecting. Beautiful to be with you. My name is Sydney. I am a psychic energy healer and embodiment guide, and I'm really passionate about helping leaders and visionaries like you feel completely welcome and safe to be your true self, live your purpose, own your power, and live an extraordinary life. Because really, we're here for heaven on earth, and that means living an incredible life full of joy, purpose, fulfillment, abundance, and really being an example of what's possible. And I really want to share today, just to begin, this week has been a big week. I'm recording this on May 21st, so we're a month out from the June summer solstice. And I actually took about a week off, longer than I had intended to. I took a week off from making any videos. It felt, more like a time of being really internal and frankly processing a lot of emotional turbulence. I had a lot of grief and anger coming up in my system to process, and required a lot of rest and just space to really be with myself. And maybe you felt the same. It's the energies we're getting hit with now on the planet are no joke. They're really kicking up a lot of old material, ancient material, karmic, transgenerational material. And it's a lot. It sometimes feels like a full-time job, just feeling and healing, as opposed to like the actual jobs that some of us have. It's like it's a lot. It can be a lot, and it's okay. I actually got my hair done yesterday, which, if you can tell, I got some new highlights and felt really felt like some nice self-care, to take care of the body and just get a fresh update. And even my hairdresser, was speaking about how, she's telling her kids who are teenagers and, living in New York City, that it's okay to feel really overwhelmed. It's okay to feel a lot. It's a lot to just be alive, and I really appreciated this conversation with her. And there's just such an awakening, there's such an awakening happening. It's so palpable. I'm very immersed in the business, like technology, startup world, and it's so palpable that people are just waking up and they're wondering, how do I live more authentically, with more empathy, with more intuitive sense, with deeper trust in myself? How do I have more empowered, loving, intimate relationships? How can I be more real? And just love it. I love it. And it's exciting, and it's also an invitation just for all of us to really be easy on ourselves. I think that's one of the biggest messages from my last week with, my friends and community and, my spiritual allies and those I am really blessed to support. It's like the reminder has been to be so compassionate with ourselves as we go through this awakening and embodiment process, that we are really integrating and processing lifetimes of, in some cases, pain, trauma, resistance. It's a lot. It's a lot being cleaned out of the body, being detoxed. And we really deserve a lot of compassion for ourselves and also each other. Because we're all doing the best we can, or else we do differently, right? And so is everybody else. And we really deserve a lot more grace. And how can we give ourselves and each other more grace and understanding? Yeah. So what I want to talk about today, there's a bunch of different topics I've kind of been feeling into for this channel. My intention for this space is to share a really updated energy of, what I love to offer and what I've been sharing for almost a decade, but in this new light. It's a new energy on the planet. I'm embodying a new energy. Some of you may know me from years ago, and I feel like a totally different person. And we tried, and you do too, obviously. Everybody's like, we're so different. We're changing so fast these days. I'm holding my Shasta Lemurian crystal, by the way, too, for some extra grounding here, and it is helping. And you'll notice on this channel, we played with uploading some of the old Visionary Souls episodes that have been really powerful. And it's actually, to be honest, kind of strange for me to watch some of those old videos. I really don't even recognize myself from 2 years ago. It's been such an evolution. And I feel like in some ways it can feel sometimes like the past versions of ourselves were characters we didn't even know we were playing, right? I don't know if you have that experience. I would sense you do, if you resonate with this channel here. Like, So, and I wrote about in my newsletter the other day, like, what's it like to just drop the mask? You know, these masks we didn't even know we were wearing. And how exhausting is it to finally become aware of the masks that you've been wearing that came from trauma, from different, survival, being who you thought you had to be to get XYZ, whatever you thought you needed to survive or be enough or be loved or be validated or not be abandoned, whatever the game is you were playing. And we develop these masks, these, character personalities that were developed in trauma. And, they can become so heavy and so exhausting to hold in place when really we don't even need them anymore, and everything in our life is just asking us to be real and authentic and stop trying and just drop the resistance and stop going against the stream of life and be honest. And gosh, that has been such a thread of this last week, right? This last lifetime for sure, but definitely this last week has been, to really invite us into deeper stillness and presence within ourselves to ask, where am I still wearing the mask? Where am I still wearing a mask that I really want to take off and let go of? And sometimes as we're really becoming aware of that mask or that coping mechanism, whatever it is, that personality trait that really doesn't actually serve us or feel good, but it's familiar. So in a weird way, it feels good in that it's familiar, even if it feels bad. This is what we're dealing with, and we can become aware of it. And it can be so exhausting when you become aware of these, these characteristics at first. It can be so tiring to notice how much energy you've been exhausting into holding this filter, this persona, this mask, this costume in place. It's like everything going against the stream of life, which is wanting you to just be authentic and real and present and not hold anything and be fluid and light in an open channel, empty. And in my experience, we touch into moments of emptiness. We can touch into moments of really deep presence and stillness and emptiness. But the personality or the ego it's always there as long as we're alive. It's there to keep us safe. It's there to help us not like walk into traffic or fall off a cliff or, it's there for survival. But we really don't need it as much as we were taught, as much as we, subconsciously learned growing up, and as much as we were conditioned by society to think. We don't need it. We really don't need it that much anymore. Like very sparingly. Again, just for like base survival. And I don't even know if we need it for that. I mean, maybe on some level we're really even evolving out of that, because when we're so present, this is just coming to me now. This is what I'm curious about, when we're truly present and empty and fluid, is there anything to be like to protect ourselves from? I'm going to be present, present, allowing God, source, whatever it is, higher intelligence, higher self to move through me. So do I even need an ego structure to protect me from anything? Do I even need that to protect my body as though I'm in danger from something happening outside of me? Or am I in complete, full trust and emptiness that something is really guiding me and moving through me, that I'm always perfectly guided along an aligned, destined path, and I'll always be protected and safe, and there's no fear? There's actually no fear. There's nothing to be afraid of. There's nothing to protect from. There's, again, nothing to hold in place or hold up as some kind of a projection or filter, to be something other than what I am. So I like how that feels. This feels more true. I feel like, as I say, we'll always have an ego structure. I actually don't think so. I don't know. I think we may be evolving out of that. I'm curious to know what you feel and you think, as that just came in as a little interruption. I think there's conditioning to say that, to just make us be like, oh, little human, pat on the back. Like, yeah, you'll always have your ego structure. Don't try to get rid of it. Because there can be a lot of misunderstanding and miscommunication about, like making the ego bad. And making it like having ego shame, that we're not meditating right if we're not completely in silence and stillness and the ego hasn't dissolved. That's not true. And that can actually entail that approach can entail a lot of bypassing, if someone's just like, I have transcended my ego and I'm just pure love and light. And really you can feel in their energy that they're actually holding so much unprocessed grief and anger and don't have the capacity to really come down into their body and feel that shame and whatever it is that they're avoiding by being disassociated and in the higher realms and love and light. So And it's inevitable with the energy we're receiving on the planet now that, we have to come into the body to anchor and stabilize and ground. It feels really inevitable to me. Like it's been a long journey of embodiment, really doing the deal. And just the beginning of 2025, has been really a big initiation, and letting go even more. Letting go, let go of what you thought you knew, let go of who you thought you were, let go of what you think you're supposed to be doing. Something I've been sitting with is even like letting go of this concept of having a vision. And my whole business and so much of what I've created over the years has been all about vision and visionaries, and no shortage of vision, and actually no shortage of actualizing on the vision over many years. And yet my guidance this year has actually been to let go of the vision, like let go of seeking and striving for a vision outside of me for right now while this recalibration, emptying out process is happening. And, perhaps my vision actually, and try this on if it feels good for yourself, to put in your own words, but what feels more true and more nourishing is actually to say, my vision is to be at peace in the present moment. My vision for my life is to be at peace and ease in the present moment. My vision is to love and accept myself as I am in the present moment, and to not want to change anything. My vision is to experience serenity in this moment, which means I don't want anything to change, and I am in complete acceptance of all that is and all that I am. And this is where I feel most connected and open and just receptive to whatever's meant to be. And I trust that a vision I am meant to actualize will come through, and the guidance of the next right step and movement will come. There's not so much of a linear, analytical thinking process required. The other thing I'm hearing is just, simplicity. Like, really, can we please return to simplicity? How do we return to simplicity in our everyday life, moment to moment, and really experience ourselves more fully as we allow more spaciousness and simplicity. We can experience ourselves more fully. We are really, I hear right now this message, we are really deserving of our own presence. We are so deeply deserving of our own presence. And so often we can get tempted by this thought of, external validation, or performing, or creating, or delivering, or even service and helping others. And what am I doing? My purpose, fulfillment, me. And really, this drive to achieve or succeed is actually coming from a place of a deep yearning for love and affirmation. So how do we sit in our own presence and really give ourselves that gift now, without even having to do anything to deserve it? Because we already do. We already are. We deserve our own love and attention because we are alive. Thank you. So I hope that was helpful. That was a nice mini transmission for now. I feel like there will be some more videos coming around. This other topic I've been sitting with is the inner family and the inner loving family parts work, internal family systems. I'll share more about that in the next one. So if you resonated and appreciated this message, if it sparked something in you, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Please like and subscribe to stay tuned for more videos that will be coming. And feel free to check out all my offerings below. I have tons of courses and transmissions and meditations, and also our soul source facilitation training starting on the June solstice. Thank you so much, and see you next time.